Oops. Yes. Hi, you guys are watching the Mac and Cheese podcast. I'm your host, Mary, and do you want to say how you pronounce your name? Because I think I got it, but I'm not sure. So I'm not gonna
Yeah. So Rob Ralph and Jordan Olson had the same issue, but I think the literal way you can say it is Felipe hates.
Okay. Yeah, see, I'm not the only one. Okay, good. That makes me feel bad. And this makes me more mad because I took Spanish classes too. So I'm like, oh no.
You should make it easier, but it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. I would have totally butchered that. Okay, good. No, I'm not. And we decided that we're going to be discussing the Seahawks game. I know we kind of discussed it pre-conversation, before pre-recording, and maybe playoffs because we're getting closer, and maybe some international questions because, like I told you, we had some questions. Do you want to discuss first of all, I know I said this last night, but Jordan Love finally got his turkey leg at the Thanksgiving game. That was guaranteed. That was granted by Leroy Butler himself.
That was long overdue. Like they finally get the man his turkey leg. It's poetic justice. But
Justice for the
obviously he played a great game. He's now on a streak of, I want to say, 3 games without interceptions, or
That's correct.
3 or 4. I think it's
It's
3.
3.
But
According to Nick, it's 3.
we are in a good position right now. 9-4. This currently the 6th seed. We still have a shot at the division, although it's probably not gonna happen because the Lions would have to lose all their games and not gonna happen.
Oh.
But I like the position we're in now because we had people last year when the Packers were at the bye, they were 3-6. And I'm talking a little bit about before, not the current state of the Packers. But last year the Packers were 3-6, and there were people saying that the season was over. This year we were 6-3 at the bye, and people saying that the season was also over.
Right.
But we are in very different position, like skill wise, mentally wise, coaching wise, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
All right.
So yeah, I feel optimistic about the team. Not optimistic about playing Seattle, but I think we can win.
I mean, with what you told me, I think we do have a good chance of beating Seattle this Sunday, and I'm excited to see how this game turns out to be. It's gonna be a good game. I feel like as of yesterday, DraftKings has us winning. DraftKings has us favorited by 3 points. I think they said like 30-28 last time I checked. So that's
The Packers are now it's saying by ESPN 2.5.
oh, okay. Hey, I'll take it.
Because Jair is not playing, so that's
Right.
probably playing a factor.
Right.
But
We have Evan Williams back too, and Romeo Dobbs hopefully, so that should be huge.
yeah, Adrian Cooper should be good to go as well per Matt LaFleur.
Okay.
Obviously, not having Jair hurts because Seattle has a heavy passing offense.
Right.
But I trust Jeff Heffley
Mhm.
to get things under control. I think he held Goff to 6.9 yards per attempt on Thursday.
Yeah.
So I trust those guys. I don't like our depth at corner, but I think coaching will make it up for it.
Okay. Like you did say, we did stop the Lions with the run game, which is huge because in the past we've said we need a better run game. We have it.
Yeah. And people may be misled by the stats because the Lions, I think, had 135 rushing yards.
Yeah.
But they had over 30 rushing attempts. They had less than 4 yards per carry.
It's crazy.
And whenever you can do that against Montgomery and Gibbs, that's a win. The problem is that the pass defense, didn't show up.
Yeah. And I heard today that the only 2 players that did not practice is Jair Alexander and Javon Bullard, which is a big win for us. Well, not really, because we would have hoped Jair played, but I feel like he might play on Monday night against the Saints. personally, because more playoff berth potentially. Because
I'm saying my guess is that only gonna see Jair again in the wild card weekend,
okay.
and the Packers are gonna be very cautious with him.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that the same might happen to Javon Buller. I know he was seen by encouragers after the game
Mm-hmm.
in Detroit,
Mm-hmm.
and LaFleur said he's week to week. The Packers tend to be historically conservative with their players returning
Right.
from injury,
That's a good point.
so it
Yeah.
might be a minute before those guys return
Right. That's a good
to the
point.
lineup.
I forgot about that. But it's like Romeo Dobbs has been out quite a bit, and sounds like he's playing on Sunday. That's gonna be huge.
Oh yeah. It's been also a minute since the Packers had their full arsenal of guys healthy. I know that was a
Right.
thing. That was a theme last year. Love only had one game with his full cast available, and that was against the 49ers,
Mm-hmm.
the playoffs. So it's fun to see those guys all the band back together, like everyone saying the field at the same time.
Right. And we saw Luke Musgrave was practicing. He's potentially off of IR soon, which should be good.
Is he questionable? I haven't seen the injury report yet.
Yeah, I didn't either. My friend sent it to me today, but I didn't look at it clearly.
I know he's at least doubtful, but
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if he plays that. But Tucker Craft has been doing a great job right now.
Agreed.
He's playing like a star tight end. Not saying this to discredit Musgrave because the Packers are better when both of those guys are on the field.
All right.
But I trust Kraft to handle the workload while Musgrave slowly gets back into rhythm.
Right. Agreed. I trust Kraft more than Musgrave right now because we know Kraft can catch the ball and run. Whereas we know when Luke Musgrave is on the field, he catches the ball but doesn't run with it. It's a joke in the Packers committee that Musgrave stayed on his feet. So
Oh yeah.
who knows?
The clip of the Matt LaFleur clip after the Cowboys game. Musgrave stay on his feet.
And they were all cheering.
That was incredible. That was incredible.
Our run game, Josh Jacobs, Emmanuel Wilson, Chris Brooks.
But I mean, I was told this year that Josh Jacobs was a below average running back.
Ooh.
By an actual ESPN article.
Yeah.
And let me get this stat so I read it to the people that are at home. Let's open X for a little bit because I want to make sure this is out there. Okay. So Josh Jacobs, right? Below average Josh Jacobs.
Mm-hmm.
He's a top five back.
Right.
In yards after contact, rushing grade, yards after contact per attempt. Let's see what else. What else am I missing? Anyways, he has all of those numbers while being a below average running back. Imagine if he wasn't a below average running back.
Right. I mean, we've seen Aaron Jones with the Vikings. How many times has he fumbled now? Like 4 or something crazy like that?
Yeah, fumbles were a pretty big issue. And I love the guy to death. The guy is a class act as they come.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, and obviously, Jones is going to be a Packers Hall of Famer when his career is done.
Okay.
Deservedly so. But Jacobs is a different breed. Like the Packers wanted a guy like Jacobs, the kind of guy who could take like 30 touches per game. And Jones was not able to do that, much because of his size.
Right.
And honestly, this Jacobs pickup in free agency was one of the best since God knows when. The same goes with McKinney.
Yeah, agreed. What was I just thinking? Oh, the Packers saw the first ever receiving touchdown from Josh Jacobs too.
Yeah.
That happened this season.
it was so funny because it's so obvious how they designed that play for him to score. I think they were on the it was against Houston, right? They
Mm-hmm.
were on the I want to say the 5 yard line, and the only intent of the play, like it wasn't like let's read the progressions, let's see what the defense does. The play was get the ball to Josh Jacobs. I don't care, and it worked.
Right.
So it was great to see like him scoring. That I'm not sure if you have seen his background story of his life.
I have.
It's something that special to see him like succeed and see him in the position that he's in
I
today.
think
And
so.
honestly, the kind of character that the Packers want in the locker room, the guy
Mm-hmm.
that fights for everyone and simply doesn't quit on the team, right?
Right. You could say the same thing about McKinney too. Xavier McKinney for the safety room. You could say the exact same thing as
Yeah,
that.
and honestly, I know we talk about Evan Williams a lot, but I don't think Evan Williams plays this well if
Right.
Xavier McKinney is not back there. I'm
Right.
not saying I'm not saying that Williams has his own credit because the guy is a dog,
Mm-hmm.
but Xavier McKinney is certainly playing a huge part in his development. So
Right.
it's great to see those guys like
I was gonna
uh,
say I'm excited. I'm personally excited to see the jump between year one Evan Williams and year two, knowing Xavier McKinney will be there. I think that's
yeah,
just gonna be a phenomenal jump. Same with Javon Bullard. Like, yes, we know he's injured right now, but I'm excited to see that jump too.
yeah, and not even to discredit Javon Buller because I know he was having his struggles against the pass,
Right.
but he has been a pretty efficient defender against the run.
All right.
At a point, he was Green Bay's highest graded defender against the run
Oh
per
wow.
Pro Football Focus, I think.
Oh wow. That's big then.
So I mean, it's not like he wasn't making an impact. He
Right.
was.
It was. Yeah.
So McKinney and Williams were playing so out of their minds that it just happened that we weren't talking about Bullard that often, but that doesn't mean that he was not making plays. He was making plays.
Right. Because I feel like when we don't say a person's name, that means they're doing well. And like everyone keeps mentioning Xavier McKinney for Defensive Player of the Year, but I'm like, I don't know. There's so many good safeties out there in this league, like Kirby Joseph, for instance. Do I like what Kirby Joseph does to other players? No,
Yeah,
but I don't
and
know.
it was like I was talking to you before we started recording this. I kind of pointed that out, like not
Mhm.
the way he tackles because I know that it's the way that
Right,
DBs are taught to tackle bigger guys in space, and
right.
that's the reality of the NFL.
Hmm.
But my main point on my tweet that I put out about him was talking about it's always him that is
Hmm.
involved in these controversies. It's always him.
Right.
Like it happened 3 times this year, one time last year
Hmm.
with Cole Kmet and with
Hmm.
Hawkinson as well.
I was gonna say T.J. Hawkinson. He's the one that tore his ACL.
Anyways, but I think X has a pretty strong case. I know the
Yeah,
league loves its pass rushers, so it's
yeah.
hard to compete against them.
I mean, T.J. Watt is good, but I don't know.
Yeah,
See, but I feel like the Steelers got healthy better because Preston Smith is there now too. Speaking of Preston Smith to the Steelers, what was your first thoughts about that pick or trade?
I mean, I think Smith requested the trade, right?
Right. That's correct.
And I mean, it kind of made sense production wise because I think at the point he got traded, he had on like 10 pressures, and he
Mhm.
was like way down the list.
Yeah.
Now, cap wise, it also made sense because the Packers open like I think 13 million in cap space for I think next year and a little less this year. And
Mhm.
whether we like it or not, Smith was an aging veteran. Uh, but locker room wise, I think the Packers definitely miss him because have never seen anything bad come out of 1265. Anything bad come out about him. So sure, he was a very respected guy. I think Jaden Reed even tweeted when he got traded. Uh, like something. Oh no, man! But that's the
Yeah.
reality of the NFL. It's business. I think speaking in general terms, it made sense, production wise, cap wise, and Goody. I think Goody nailed on this one. I think he got a seventh round pick, but who knows who we're gonna end up getting on the seventh round
Right.
because we got
Exactly.
Carrington Valentine, who God knows why doesn't play.
Right. And look at Kalen King. Kalen King was also a seventh rounder. We haven't seen enough of him, which shocks me. Um,
Yeah, and also another seventh rounder, Rashid Walker, who has playing very well. So I think it was the right decision.
right.
Like I said, I miss him, but it is what it is. It's a business.
But I think some people are forgetting we traded a seventh for Malik Willis, too. And
Yeah.
that basically got us our seventh rounder back.
Plus, got us 2 wins.
Yeah, pretty much did. I mean, against the Texans for a little bit, the Jaguars game, the
Yeah,
Titans.
and he's under contract with the Packers next year for 1.4 million.
So he is under
So that,
contract next year.
yeah, that and
Okay.
that's basically a steal.
Right.
A steal for a guy who we now know that can be effective within the system.
How many years is he on contract for? Is it just one more year?
Uh, so he was drafted in 2022.
Right.
I think next year is the last year of his rookie deal.
Okay.
Then we'll see what happens. Maybe Goody trades him for like a fifth round, fourth round.
I don't see him doing that though.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not gonna extend him
No.
for obvious reasons.
Right.
So I don't think they're just gonna release him. He has trade value.
Yeah.
So he might not able to get a fourth because we're hoping that he doesn't play because we wanna see Love play. Love is the
Right.
starter.
Right.
But if he trades him like a fifth round, I think it's possible.
Mhm. So, what was your thoughts about Malik Willis coming to the Packers? Did you like the trade at the time? I know a lot of fans were disappointed with it because at the time we had Michael Pratt and Sean Clifford.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that I knew that they were gonna release both. They're gonna
Okay.
release a quarterback. I just didn't know if it would be Clifford or Pratt.
Okay.
But it took my surprise when they released both.
Yeah.
And the obvious was they're gonna go after someone else,
Right.
and then they traded for Malik Willis.
Right.
He was bad with the Titans, but he wasn't exactly under good coaching, or at least good offensive coaching, because Mike Vrabel wasn't a bad coach, but offensive wise, he wasn't the same level as Matt LaFleur.
I was
But at least,
keep going.
uh, but I knew he was a mobile quarterback, so that would allow the Packers to be more dynamic if he were to play,
Mhm.
and that's exactly what happened. The Packers had nearly two. Did the Packers went over 200 rushing yards against the Colts? I think it was
Yep.
pretty. They did.
I think so. And the
Yeah.
Colts had a
So
really good rushing defense too.
yeah.
So
So
that says something.
that made the offense much more dynamic, and he was pretty effective in the pass game too. I think he had no turnover
No
worries.
interceptions. None at all for his Packers career so far, which is crazy.
Basically, the Packers managed to go 2-0 with a quarterback that was on his way to leave the league, and that was incredible for the coaching staff to pull. That speaks volumes about Lafleur, uh, about Adam Stanovich, everyone involved, everyone.
Hmm. So your answer was we did go over 261 yards, it looks like,
Yeah,
for the Colts game with Malik Willis, it looks like. According to what I'm looking right now, we did cross over 200 yards, which is crazy.
and I think they were pretty close against Tennessee, and
Right. Oh.
I don't know if they got 200, but they were close, pretty close.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, my opinion is that just based on those two games alone, Lafleur should be on the Coach of the Year conversation, but
Mhm.
it's not for some reason. Uh,
Yeah, I don't know. He should be.
yeah, I mean, we have obvious guys like Dan Campbell, Andy
KOC,
Reid,
KOC
Andrew
from Vikings.
KOC. KOC has a pretty good argument.
All right.
That I don't disagree if he wins.
I
But
mean,
seeing guys like Sean Payton, Andy Reid, I respect the hell out of Andy Reid, but come on, the dude has
yeah,
Patrick Mahomes.
right.
Uh, I think LaFleur is at least a top five candidate, if not three.
Agreed. I mean, I feel like the Texans quote should have won it last year because look what they did. The Texans basically rebuilt their team in no season. And same with the
Yeah.
Packers. It's like we always got told that Aaron Rodgers was the reason why Matt LaFleur was winning. Clearly not. Clearly not. It's proven
What
itself.
What if I say this? What if Matt LaFleur won? This might sound controversial.
Go ahead.
What if Matt LaFleur won despite of Aaron Rodgers? Because we all remember. I'm not saying that I agree with it because I have seen this discussion on a timeline.
Mhm.
Uh, Matt LaFleur basically had to orchestrate back-to-back 13-win seasons with the whole Rodgers versus front office saga after
Right.
the 2019 season, right?
Right.
So backstage things were not going so well, and yet he delivered two 13-win seasons and the number one seed on both occasions.
Mm-hmm. And also,
Obviously, Rodgers won MVP on both years, and that helped, obviously, but things were not going, everything was not going well. Like there was some disconnection there, and they won a lot of games despite the disconnection.
mm-hmm. That's a good point. I didn't think about it till, well, yeah, that's a good point. I never realized that much. There's
But
that.
I'm not. I don't entirely agree with this narrative. I'm just pulling out because I think there are truths to it. But Rodgers is a Hall of Fame quarterback. He also played a big part on those two seasons.
Yeah,
That's you can't deny that. You can't deny.
right. I mean, it's going to be tough to see Rodgers coming back to Lambeau this season or whenever we play the Jets next. If he plays anymore, do you think he stays for another season with the Jets? If so, or no? If so, who?
Look, Rodgers said that he wants to stay in New York,
Right.
but it's going to depend on who they bring in, like general manager, the head
Mhm.
coach.
Mhm.
If he doesn't stay, I'm not sure he's gonna have many pursuers because who is going to want to sign a
right.
40 something, I don't remember his age, 40 something year old quarterback who's coming from significant injury like
Mhm.
less than 2 seasons
Mhm.
and who has not been playing well, by the way. Uh,
Right.
but I still hold to the possibility that the Vikings for some reason will allow Sam Darnold to leave,
Yeah.
and then Rodgers completes the Brett Favre cycle.
But the thing is, we talked about this last night with Nick. But the thing is, the Vikings just signed Danny Dimes from the Giants, though, on their practice squad. So I don't know about that. It's like questionable.
I'm not sure if that says a lot. Like I know Daniel I was gonna say Danny Dimes. I know Daniel Jones uh, can be counted when things are at least solid around him, like we've seen that in
Mhm.
2022.
Right.
But I'm not sure that signing says a lot. I think the Vikings will sign Darnold. JJ McCarthy had a big knee injury uh,
Mhm.
this year, and
Mhm.
we don't know if he's gonna be ready next year. Maybe the Vikings want to be conservative with him, like let him sit another season. Uh, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't think Rodgers retires in after this season.
Okay.
Well, it wouldn't be shocking to see he retire, but me personally, I don't think he will retire.
Okay. Do you see? Do you think we see his jersey finally retired as a Packer? That's been in the works. It's been
Oh
in the works
yeah,
for a while.
that will happen. Like I'd say the first year after he's fully retired, that is going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And then
Right.
they get his name on the along with the other guys on.
He deserves
Well,
it. He deserves
yeah,
it. I know a lot of people will disagree with that, but he deserves it.
I will say this. I don't agree with a lot of things that Rogers
Right.
says and does off the
Mhm.
field. I don't.
Yeah.
But I'll forever be grateful to the player Aaron Rodgers
Mhm.
that got me into football and the Packers, because if I don't watch his highlights when I was a 13-year-old,
It's crazy.
I don't become a football fan. That's
Mhm.
facts. So I know how to separate. I don't agree
Right.
with the person Rodgers on many things, but I respect the hell out of the player Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, it's just sad. I think it's gonna be sad because it won't be Mark Murphy retiring his jersey, though. I think that's gonna be the most saddest thing. Speak of Mark Murphy, are you excited for him to leave? Are you sad? How are you thinking?
Uh, I mean, to be honest, that's something that I haven't thought fully about it yet. I know he's retiring in 2025, but
Mhm.
I know the Packers are moving on with ad policy, and
Mhm.
it's so funny because that policy has been on the Packers for quite some time now.
Right.
So just like the Packers draft and develop their quarterbacks, they do the same with their presidents, team
I didn't
presidents.
think about that. That's true.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's
But
crazy.
I know the guy now talking about Murphy loves the
Mhm.
team, has been always there. Like he doesn't hide when things gets rough, because I'm a soccer fan,
Right.
and to put in comparison the guys who are in charge of my team, like not
Mhm.
owners, but who run the team.
Right.
When things go south, those guys disappear, and that's one of the things that I value on Murphy. He doesn't shy. He doesn't go away. He doesn't stay quiet when things are not working. Like he shows his face. He explain things. He's there for answer questions and everything else. And I appreciate that. I can only hope that that policy follows the same path. And I feel confident that he will, because the Packers. Uh,
Mhm.
I'm sure they spend a good amount of time picking the Murphy's successors. So I feel good and I feel confident. If I'm gonna miss Murphy, that's going to be seen for the next few seasons, the way they handle things off the field. But
Yeah,
that's yet to be discovered.
I'm gonna be curious how they do the off the field things, like draft, for instance. One of the biggest ones is draft coming up. We know Mark that would be Mark Murphy's last official Packers thing, technically.
Yeah, and that's
We,
something other thing that I saw during the trade deadline, and
mhm.
people speculating that the Packers were going to trade for someone, maybe use their first round pick on a corner, on a pass rusher. And I was like, guys, the draft is in Green Bay next season. They're not gonna spend their own first round pick on their draft,
That would be
the
a
draft
stupid
in their
idea.
city. That's not gonna happen.
But yeah, no. I already heard people mock drafting us kickers for like seventh round or something. I'm like, oh no. They just want
Never
to like
draft
see Bambo burn.
Never draft kickers, kids.
Right.
Never, never, never.
You
Please.
mentioned Jets head coach and GM. What are your thoughts about that? We know Salah is officially a Packers coach. Did you like that move? What were you thinking when it happened?
I mean, I'm not gonna say that. Um, I think the Jets were seriously in the wrong after in firing Salah,
Mhm.
because their defense got worse after he was gone.
Right.
And I mean, everyone with two sets of ball eyes could see that the problem with the Jets were two things:
Mm-hmm.
offense, and oh boy, I hope they don't find this, the owner. Um,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, the offense, and has been an issue for quite some time now. That that's even something that Kevin O'Connell said on a presser. I'm not sure if it was a presser or an interview. He said NFL franchises fail young quarterbacks way more than way young quarterbacks fail NFL franchises. And that's true.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Packers have been so successful with
Hmm.
their position because they let their guys develop in the right way. And
Right.
not just the Jets. Like a lot of teams don't
Do
give
it.
their guys their time. Like Bryce Young last year, for example.
Hmm.
terrible offensive line,
Mhm.
didn't have a good supporting cast, and the Panthers were 2-15. Bryce Young looked like a bust.
Right.
This year, he started, wasn't that good. Then he stayed for a while. New
Mhm.
head coach, offensive minded head coach, and
Mhm.
now he's playing like a first round pick.
It's crazy.
Guys just need time, and the Jets have been dysfunctional since like 29-10.
Which is crazy because you think they would do the Packers system, knowing that one of their Packers former quarterbacks is
Absolutely
there.
not, because Woody Johnson is an impatient owner, and
Right.
owners want results.
Yeah. But you
So
would think,
they don't have the time to see the guy for 3 seasons and let him develop. It's one of the things that the Packers can benefit of. They don't have an owner who puts
right.
pressure on results right away.
Hmm.
But
Like,
there's so much wrong with the Jets, and they fired the one thing that wasn't the problem.
yeah. It's sad to see Salah go. He lost the job, but he got a better run. It is what it is. Um, what do you think about Halfley, a Packers defensive coordinator from Boston College?
Well, I'm gonna start saying that it's so good to have a defensive coordinator who actually makes adjustments in halftime.
Mm-hmm.
The Packers have allowed like 10 or fewer points in 9 games in the second half this year. That's what they would have allowed like the fourth quarter, all fourth quarter last season. I
That's
like the
crazy.
way he gets creative with pressures. Like obviously the Packers are bottom 10 units in pass rush win rate per, I think ESPN had it.
Okay.
And things are started to click when Heffley got creative.
Mm-hmm.
So he would like put 7 guys on the line, but 3 would back into coverage, but one of those 3 backing up would be a defensive end, and he would bring a linebacker to rush the quarterback. When he got creative, the things started clicking. And I think the Packers still lead the league in takeaways, or they're second to that now.
I think
They're
we were.
attacking the ball. They're playing.
I think we were
Yeah,
talking Toby Joseph.
yeah. I know they're at least a top five. I'm not sure at the top anymore,
Yeah, I don't
but
know.
I like the way they're playing. They have been struggling to defend the middle of the field for a
Mm-hmm.
while now. By the way, for this
Mm-hmm.
that is a issue way before halfway.
Right.
And but I mean, that's something that's going to take time to fix, because we don't have so many good linebackers. I know Quay has been better in this past few weeks, but I think at this point we know what he is. I have
Mm-hmm.
hopeful for Adrian Cooper. We know what Isaiah McDuffie is at this point.
Right.
Uh, so I guess they're gonna try to address the position and free agents and a draft. The same with corner, because Jair has been having trouble to stay healthy.
Right.
But the defense is delivering results despite all those setbacks, and that's makes me feel very very good about Heffley. I'm excited to see those guys in year 2. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's going to be quite an upgrade,
Right.
and I can only hope that he doesn't get offered a head coach job elsewhere, because I would be miserable.
I mean, I don't know if he would because who would get a head coach? Who needs a head coaching job right now? Jets. I don't know if anyone else needs one.
Jets,
I mean,
Saints, Bears. No, after he's not gonna. I'd say he's not gonna get a
I
head
don't think
coaching
so
job
either.
after this season. It's
I
not gonna
don't.
happen. But
No, I
after
don't.
next year, maybe.
Next year, maybe. But we have Salah in the works, though, too, for a defensive coordinator for us
Yeah,
if we need it,
yeah,
which is good that he knows the system, thankfully.
yeah.
Um, and we can officially say we beat the Joe Barry defense, too.
Joe Barry is now the. I want to say his run game coordinator for
Mm-hmm.
Miami,
Mm-hmm. Run game coordinator and
which is
linebackers coach.
which is so ironic, because the Packers could never stop the run.
Exactly. And then we just faced them. Like, we stopped it. Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah,
It's
but
actually funny,
I will
too,
see.
because
I think this next.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mary. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I think it's funny because we basically swapped linebacker coaches too, because Joe Barry's the Dolphins linebacker coach too, along with run coordinator. And now we took the linebackers coach from the Dolphins. Like, what?
The franchise swap the
Exactly.
linebacker coaches.
Right. It's crazy.
Can they swap like uh Tyreek Hill with I don't know Mike Heath or Bo Melton? I love those guys, but Tyreek Hill's a freak speed monster.
Yeah, I would love Tyreek Hill, but would we have the money for it though?
Yeah.
Is the thing.
Plus the off field issues kind of scare me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised that Brandon McManus is a Packer knowing off the field issues. Like that's
Yeah, I wasn't. I'm gonna say I wasn't particularly happy when they signed him.
Oh, is it because the off the field stuff?
Yeah, because when there's smoke, there's fire, right?
Mhm.
So I wasn't particularly happy,
Okay.
but at the same time, okay, I'm gonna trust that the Packers did
Did,
the research.
right. Did the
But still,
investigations.
I was kind of holding at least a foot back.
Okay. Yeah, I can understand that. I was also like on the fence of the Packers signing him because the off the field issues. He had major off the field issues. Um, I was not happy about it personally. I know a lot of people were not as well.
Yeah,
However, he's doing the job that we need him to do. That's all I care about. If he
yeah,
does the job, I'm okay with it. Um, so I have a couple of questions from my fans. If you have any questions for me, just let me know. Like
that's cool.
fill them in kind of. So you said you think the Packers win the Seahawks game, right?
Yeah, they're favorites, right, by 2.5, they have the better team, but uh, they haven't won in Seattle since 2008, I think. So it has been some time, and playing in Lumen Field is always tough, like the
Mm-hmm.
atmosphere. But if they can quiet the noise, they should be able to win the game and also control the time of possession because I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to see Stokes and Nixon against Metcalf and Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Right. um. So um, this is from James. He wants to know, what do you think about the NFL traveling to different countries? They've done Germany, Brazil, London, and Berlin next year. What do you think about them like traveling to different countries, like for a different perspective of the countries and whatever?
I mean, uh, speaking from an American standpoint, that's
All
which you
right.
guys are,
All right.
it makes sense for the fans to be mad because they want to see their fans playing
Mhm.
at their own stadium in front of their own fans. So, and I was talking to you about this before we started recording.
Right.
I was totally okay with fans being upset that the Packers came to Brazil. I'm friends from the U.S., right? Uh, I wasn't like offended. Not that it mattered, but I wasn't offended at all. It made perfect sense. If my soccer team went to play a game in Canada, I would be pissed.
Right.
Uh, but I think it's great for the market because the NFL is expanding worldwide.
Mhm.
Brazil, in fact, has the third highest viewership of the entire world. We're only
Oh,
behind,
wow.
obviously, we're behind the US and
Right.
Mexico. So I know Germany has a, a lot of fans. The UK has a lot of fans.
Right.
Uh, I know they're gonna play a game in Spain next year,
Mm-hmm.
Real Madrid Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's great. Obviously, the long trips are not good for any sports team, not just football, but basketball, hockey, whatever you want to
It's
say it.
yeah.
But I think the positives outgains the draws,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it make and obviously the NFL is a business, so they want to do things that will get them money, and getting international is one of them.
Right. So speaking of that, where do you see them going next? Like, do you see them going to a different country? Like,
Besides besides the countries that have already been
yeah,
rumored.
or before they are playing at right now. So like UK.
So okay, uh, they have played games in UK, in Brazil. I know Canada in the preseason.
Right. Germany.
Mexico, Germany. There were rumors that they were targeting Australia, but it would be kind of tough because of the time difference.
Is it?
Yeah, Australia. I'm from Rio. Uh,
Right.
Australia is like let me see if I can find it.
I think Australia is an hour ahead of Eastern though. So it wouldn't be that bad of timing, I think.
Yeah,
Or
let me
it's 2 hours. It's 1 or 2 hours ahead. I can't remember.
show. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, so it's 12 p.m. in Australia. Oh,
Oh,
sorry. Yeah, 12 p.m. in Australia right now.
oh wow.
So there's a quite difference, but I think they're gonna do it because it's going to give them money and fans do whatever have to
Mhm.
deal with it, like whatever. I know Australia, maybe Asia, also Korea,
Mhm.
South Korea, and Europe in general. Like besides Germany, uh,
I would
maybe
personally love Scotland. I don't know why.
yeah.
I just,
I think France is also in the mix.
yeah. Oh, yeah, I could see France.
France has a big market, I
I
know.
just don't know about the language barrier though, because you would have to have a fan that would tour direct them like you guys did in Brazil. You guys would have, they would have to do a similar thing to that though. Um,
Yeah.
is the thing.
Uh,
I
I'm
would love
trying.
Canada too. Canada would be fun, like for in season.
They played a preseason game in Canada. It was the Packers, right?
I
Who
don't think
played
so.
a preseason game in Canada? Packers and Raiders, I want to say. I remember this game.
I don't know.
It
But I
was
would just love it in season. Like I know that's preseason, but I would love it in season. Like knowing the cold months, like the Packers play well in the cold. Um, I would just love to see that.
yeah. Uh, but the tendency is only they're gonna keep expanding. Like I talked about this before we started recording. I think there's a 5-year contract in the mix for the city of São Paulo to host more games. So we'll see how that goes down. That should be announced. Uh, I'd say shortly after the Super Bowl or
Okay.
something. But that's the world we live in. Money
Yeah.
does things.
Right. See, I would love Costa Rica, but it's too small. I would
Yeah,
absolutely love Costa Rica for the NFL because I feel like there's a lot of soccer fans there too, because that's the only sport that they basically play in Costa Rica. And I would
yeah.
just
I
love it.
would.
Like,
I would also love Italy.
yes, Italy would be so much fun.
I have uh,
Not Rome,
I
but
have family from Italy, so
oh,
I
that's
have been there. It's a beautiful country, beautiful.
that's amazing. How was the Brazil game? I know you told me you weren't there, but how was it from
So
what you saw?
I I had my flight to São Paulo on Thursday morning,
Oh wow.
and on Thursday night we all watched the Chiefs Ravens game on a watch party that
Oh
was
cool.
hosted by Cheesehead TV and Packers Brazil.
Okay.
Got to meet a lot of guys that I have knew online for years. I'll send you the picture after.
Yeah, that'd be
I
amazing.
have I think I have the picture on Twitter, but I'll send you after
Yeah,
the song.
perfect.
Then I legit could not sleep from Thursday to Friday,
Okay.
and I left for the stadium at 4 p.m. The game was 9:15 p.m.
Oh wow.
We got there at like 5 p.m., like 5:30. We had
Mhm.
a pregame meeting. Uh, it got to the stadium around, and there was a lot of stuff in the pregame meeting. Had
Okay.
some the NFL shop was available, so every possible thing or everything you could buy was there.
Oh
Ru-
cool.
Do you remember Russell Okung?
Who?
Play Russell Okung play left tackle for the Panthers. I want to say
Probably not.
So I was walking around the stadium and I saw a big dude performing capoeira, which is a Brazilian tradition,
Okay.
right? That mix dance,
Okay.
martial arts, and I see that he has a jersey on, and I see that's him,
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
like out of nowhere.
Hmm.
Uh, that was that was a funny moment.
That's
Uh,
amazing.
and to me, the biggest shock of reality was when I got into the stage and I could see the field. That
Mhm.
And the first thing that I said was, "Oh my God, the goalpost is so small. I need to stop criticizing kickers when they miss." Like
Right.
it was the biggest uh, one for me. And also, I went to the game thinking, "Oh my God, like I have only watched football through television. How
Right.
am I gonna do this? I'm gonna get fooled. Am I gonna get fooled by play action? Am I am I I'm going to able to see who has the ball?" It was super fine. Super fine. It felt like a road game for both teams. Like both teams had to use silent count. Both teams got booed when they were on offense. Uh, I personally remember like in the play that Love got injured. I saw that there were two guys down, and I remember looking and thinking to myself, "Oh my God,
Mhm.
uh, oh my God, oh my God." Yeah, and then I text my brother. He was watching the game on television, and I just remember typing, "Oh my God, tell me that he is not down.
Mhm.
Please tell me this is not happening. It's someone else." And then he replies saying, "Yeah, love is down, and it looks real bad." My soul left my body at that moment.
I bet.
And I remember watching the a clip of the injury in the stadium post game and thinking, man, our season is done. It's done because you could literally see his knee pop on the tackle.
Okay. Okay.
But despite the loss and the love getting injured, that was one of the, if not the most memorable experience of my life, and I would absolutely do it again. That only makes me be 100% certain that I'm going to Lambeau Field to catch a game someday. That is going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I hope to see you there because I
Yeah,
know you want to do that too.
I will definitely be there at the draft. I know. I know I put on a poll on my previous account. I should probably do it like when it gets closer. I put on a poll like on my Twitter, on my old personal account that I don't have anymore because it got fully suspended for no reason. Like literally no reason at all. And I basically asked like how many of you guys would want to meet us, and a lot of people said yes. So I'm
Oh,
excited that
that's great.
I'm
That's
actually
great.
gonna get it done. Um, but it's like I've met like some of my friends, like Justin or Mondro, for instance. Mondro, he lives like 30
Follow him.
minutes away from me. He lives like 30 minutes away from me, and him and I've hung out in person. Like I think we were watching last year's Week 18 Bears game, like with each other. And so far, we've watched a game every single season besides this one.
Shout out to Justin, by the way.
Yes. Um, how was the like seeing the Packers in Brazil, other than how the game ended, like other than the game loss? I know you
So
kind
I
of.
actually, I actually went to the hotel that the Packers were staying,
Oh my gosh, that's so
and
cool.
I was able to see some of the guys. I think I saw Tyron Hopper on
Okay.
the hotel lobby, and I was with a couple of friends. We went to the mall.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, we ran into the entire Packers defensive line room at the mall.
Oh my
We,
gosh. Funny.
Kenny Clark, Devontae Wyatt, Carl Brooks, TJ Slayton, every single one of those guys
That's fun.
were there with a couple of coaches.
Right.
Uh, none of them wanted to. They were at McDonald's, I think, getting something to eat, and none of them were in the mood to talk to us, and I get it. I didn't want to bother the guys because they had a game the next day and they want to stay focused.
Right.
But Carl Brooks actually recognized me
Oh my gosh.
on the. He actually recognized me from the interview, so
That's
he
so
stopped.
cool.
He spoke to us. We took a picture. I'll also send you the picture.
Yeah. Amazing.
Uh, Super nice dude.
That's amazing.
That was kind of unexpected. Then we
Mhm.
saw a player. We saw another player that wasn't a defensive lineman, leaving the mall, but we couldn't see who he was. By the looks, I think it was Xavier McKinney,
Oh, cool.
but I
So,
wasn't. I'm not so sure because he was with a hoodie.
oh,
So,
okay.
but it
Yeah.
looked like Xavier, like the hair,
Okay. The hair
body
color.
type.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
That's amazing though that you got to possibly see Xavier McKinney like right in front of you, or like
yeah.
you said.
We have a. How am I going to explain this? We have a Brazilian flag, but instead of the, I'm not sure if you have seen the Brazilian flag,
I was watching
but
the game on TV, but I saw it.
so in the blue part in the center
Mhm.
of the flag, we took that out and we put the Packers logo.
Oh my god. That's so cool.
I'll also send
Yeah.
you the picture of that.
It's amazing.
Uh, and then I think that flag is signed by Aaron Jones
Uh,
and I want to say Donald Driver,
oh,
but
cool. Okay.
I'm not sure. I know Aaron Jones did, but I'm not sure about Donald Driver. Then Brooks took the picture with us with the flag.
Aw.
Super amazing, and it kind of makes me feel proud of myself because I know he only stopped to talk to us because he recognized me.
Aw. I mean, but you could say
But
that you got recognized by a player.
yeah,
I mean,
I feel like I could have talked to Hopper, but I know I think he had his girlfriend with him, so it wasn't I wasn't in the mood to like disturb the
right.
guy, like let the guy go about his business.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, it was an experience. It wasn't a hell an experience. I'm not sure if I'm going to São Paulo next year if they have the game,
Okay.
unless like it's like Ravens and
Yeah.
another good team because I have a friend who's a Ravens fan and there's big rumors that the Ravens are a design team. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if home or away, but there's interest. Much because of the fan base, because the Brazilian fan base loves Lamar Jackson. Absolutely love Lamar Jackson.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I would
Uh,
personally love it to be like the Ravens and the Bills, like for that game. That would be fun.
that would be a game that I would go to. I would find a way. It was absolutely insane to buy tickets. The tickets, I'm not even kidding when I say this. The
Mhm.
tickets sold out in less than 1 hour,
Oh wow, that's crazy.
and I wasn't able to get it. But a friend of mine who works with us in Cheeseheads Brazil uh, saw that there was an extra ship that many people weren't aware of it, and
Mm-hmm.
she bought it.
Uh,
Extra tickets. She already had hers, but she
mm-hmm.
bought it extra. Then she texted me the next morning saying I have tickets. Do you want it? And my once again my soul left my body and I got the
Yeah,
tickets.
that's amazing.
I had everything planned. I had my flight. I had hotel. I just had a last minute issue with the tickets, but everything went out and I fulfilled one of my
Dreams.
dreams. Like dreams. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
amazing. Yeah, I feel like a lot of us like accomplished so many dreams this year or goals this year. Like for instance, we had Tom Grossi on the podcast in July. Literally, as soon as he came back from the international tour, he came on
Yeah.
the podcast, and I got to
Uh,
do ESPN.
I also got to sit down and talk to Tom on Cheesehead Brazil YouTube channel. We had I think it was prior to the draft week. We had Aaron Nagler, we had Tom Grossi,
Cool.
we had
Right.
Leroy Butler.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I need to step
Uh,
up my game a little bit. Okay. 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 Okay.
no, I fully trust that you're going to get there. I fully trust.
Yeah, like one of our
And
dreams is like Leroy Butler, like a former player. Like I was joking with my co-host Cassie, like Russell Douglas. I was joking with her about that. because Rasul Douglas is like one of my favorite cornerbacks. Just because,
Yeah.
so basically, I have his 50s jersey, and he wished me a happy birthday, like on Twitter or something.
Oh,
So
that is great.
I
That's
just want to
great.
connect with Rasul to say
That's
thank you, like via virtual, and like have him sign
that
the jersey or something.
that's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. I love
Like
it.
I
And
know he's with the Bills, but I just want him like I don't care.
yeah. And my thing with Brooks, what happened was this. My The first article that I ever put out was about Brooks.
Oh,
It
cool.
was in, I want to say, June 2023
Mhm,
for zone coverage.
mhm.
Then I realized, I think it was the week after the playoff loss in San Francisco. I was going through my followers because every once in a while I do a check to
Okay.
see if there's anyone suspect following me. Not suspect in terms of
Right.
something bad, but something that I don't found I don't find good to me personally.
Mhm, mhm.
And I saw his tag there following me, and I remember the first thing I thought was, oh, maybe that's a fan account or something, that someone that is
Right.
related. But
Right.
then I clicked on the profile, and and I and then I clicked, and I remember thinking, oh my god.
Mhm.
And the second thought that came to my head was, let's get him on an interview. Then I,
That's
I
amazing.
waited a bit because the guy just had a playoff loss, and I'm sure
Right.
he had off-season plans, things to do.
Mhm.
So I didn't want to bother him. I texted him on
Amazing.
the first week of February,
Oh wow.
and and honestly, I didn't think he was going to respond. Like, the guy is in the off season, he's probably traveling with friends,
Mhm.
family. He responded 30 minutes later,
Oh my
and we,
gosh.
we
That's so
got we got everything set. The,
that's amazing.
the guy was super humble. I was afraid that he was gonna feel a bit shy.
Yeah.
He wasn't. He wasn't, not a single bit. He was super
Mhm.
chill. He was in Miami. He was traveling, like I assumed. He was in Miami
Yeah.
with some friends. So it was very generous of him to dedicate like an hour,
That's
because the dude is in
amazing.
Miami with his friends. He could be out there partying, doing whatever he wanted, but
Right.
he, he chose to spend an hour of his day
That's
with us. So
amazing.
we'll always be very grateful
Grateful.
to him for that.
Yeah. Like one of them that we have a connection with is Alex Green, the former running back from the Packers. He actually follows me personally and the mac and cheese account. So that's one I'm trying to get on again. Because we were supposed to have him for the Super Bowl last year, and then it just didn't work out because I realized it was Super Bowl Sunday, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, and I mean, and I'm not just saying about the content that you guys put out, that which is, by the way, very good content.
Thank you.
But for everyone that is watching this, it's doing your own thing. If you don't do clickbait, if you go serious about your business, if you do things the right way, people will recognize you.
Hmm.
It's part of the process. It
Hmm.
doesn't it will happen if you
Hmm.
go up the right way, do the right things, and bring
Yeah.
things that's interesting for everyone.
Right.
uh, Things are gonna go your way.
Yeah. Like you mentioned, like one that I'm starting to get recognized for is ESPN. Like whenever I see ESPN, like the ESPN truck, they always like, or they might stop me and be like, "Hey, I've
and,
heard. Like, thank you so much
and
for talking to us."
and that's something that you need to celebrate and cheer, right, as
Mhm.
much as possible. And there's
Mhm.
so, because there are people that are going to say, oh, I want to flex it. Hell yeah, I want to flex it.
Right. Right.
Right, you deserve it.
Yeah.
You work for this. You deserve to flex this.
Exactly.
Not like you're not being humble. You're
Right.
just cheering accomplishment, and that's it.
Exactly. It's like, so I just told Nick this. So that Sunday, I've interviewed ESPN last Sunday officially, and I literally got the message that I can interview them that morning, like that morning. So I only had like 3 hours to prepare questions, and that's it. And it was just incredible. And I'm grateful that they gave me actually this merch from ESPN.
That's great.
So
I love it.
I'm like kind of wearing it to promote them as much as possible right now because they didn't have to give me this. Like,
I have the Cheesehead TV hoodie
okay,
that I got when the Jersey. I'm not sure if you know Jersey L.
I actually
He
he follows me. I think I don't know.
he gives us like a choice of Cheesehead TV shop item to pick in no way to say thanks for the things we have been doing for the site, right?
Right.
So I picked the. Let me see if I can get it real quick. He gave me a hoodie. I'm gonna pick it. I'm gonna pick it up. Oh, it's right here. Right. So he gave me this hoodie. I'm not
Okay.
sure if you.
Yeah, you can see it.
And and the thing is with. I'm just gonna put this here. The thing with using this hoodie because I live in Rio de Janeiro, right? So it's
Right.
always hot, like 90
Mhm.
degrees every day. So
Right.
I don't have many opportunities to wear the hoodie. Whenever
Right.
it's raining or during winter season,
Mhm.
doesn't matter if the opportunity is there, I will wear it
Yeah.
proudly.
Exactly. It sounds like your weather in Brazil is the same here as Florida. It's super hot all the time. It's like, ugh.
I mean, we had days during the winter that were like 95 degrees
Yeah.
on the winter.
Okay. So it's like us because like right now we're actually in a cold front in Florida, which is like 30 degrees here. It's cold.
Yeah,
But
30 degrees in
but
Rio,
it's
it's like
yeah,
never happened.
exactly. That's like here. It's like so Florida barely has any snow. So when I told Nick that's he is in Wisconsin right now actually. So when I told him like it's 30 degrees, he was like 30 degrees is nothing to me. And I'm like, but it's cold for Florida. Like
Yeah.
it's different. Where can our amazing fans or do you have any questions for me about the podcast or anything?
Well, first, I would
Yeah,
love to be on again because
yeah.
this has been
We would love to have you on.
an awesome experience for me.
Yeah.
I would love to be on again.
Maybe I can bring my friends Sounds Good on or something.
Yeah, that
Almost.
would be great. I hope to be back.
Yes.
How long have you been running the? I think you said this, but it slipped my mind. How long have you been running
No,
the
you're
podcast?
fine. We're a year old now, officially. We
Oh yeah,
started
you tweeted out. I remember. I
we
remember.
started this November 18th officially of last year, and we're officially a year old. Almost a
You
year and
guys
a
have
month, 2 months.
yeah, you guys have been doing crazy good content. So
One of our first interviews is Your Dating Tree. Tom Grossi's friend was our
that
first interview ever.
that is a flex. And you guys should. I'm after this episode is out. I'm gonna make sure you guys get even more recognition that you guys deserve
We
because
appreciate
that's
it.
crazy good content and you guys absolutely deserve it.
Hmm.
For questions,
Hmm.
besides the how old is the podcast?
It can be about Tom Grossi too, because I actually met him during 30 and 30.
Is he that tall?
He's tall, and I'm 5'4", so he's tall.
Okay. I'm not a tall guy myself. I'm 5'8", so
Oh, okay. I would say I have pictures of him actually, of like how tall he is in real life. He's tall. Let me see. Oops.
uh, we need to cheer Tom. Tom's a great guy. Oh, he's tall. He's tall. Okay. Yeah, he's tall.
But he actually signed my Packer flag. I don't have it in my background, but he
The
signed.
the thing though that I didn't mention about the São Paulo experience because all my friends one of the first things they said to me were, "Dude, I thought you were taller." And I said, "Well, we work with what we got."
Right.
But uh, I'm trying to think of more questions. Mm, when did you become a Packers fan? I'm curious, and why?
Yeah. So, like I told you pre-recording, I'm originally from Wisconsin. So
Yeah,
my mom is a Packers fan. She grew up a Packers fan. It kind of grew from my mom's side of the family because like my dad's like side of the family is from Washington or Idaho State, and they don't have a football team. But he claims he's a Washington. Claims he's a Seattle Seahawks fan because his sister lives in Seattle, like 10 minutes away from the stadium. So the person I'm going to text is their family. right away because they already joked with me like this is where we're gonna beat the Packers or something stupid like that. So they're gonna be the first person I text right away from the game. But my dad said that they mainly is like Patriots fans, Seahawks fans, and I'm like, I don't like either of those teams.
Yeah.
And Idaho doesn't have a football team, so I just chose the Packers. And apparently, according to my mom, is the only way that I would stop crying when I was a baby is watching football.
Oh.
Doesn't matter what team. I just love football. Like when I was very little, apparently. But the only way I would stop crying is by watching football.
I love this.
But and then yeah.
So
I started being a fan since I was like 10. So 2010 Super Bowl. Before that, probably. It's like NFC Championship.
So wait a second. Two questions now.
Mhm.
You're from Wisconsin, but now you're in Texas.
Florida.
Why are you in Florida? Sorry. Why are you in Florida right now?
So my mom is in the military. So I moved from Wisconsin to Texas, Texas to Florida. It's all military based. So basically, I also moved to Florida because college. I have my medical assisting degree, or before I was occupational therapy assistant, which is OTA, or occupational therapy. In Florida, there's only 2 colleges that have it in Florida. Actually, it's here in Tampa. It's Fort Myers in Tampa, and Fort Myers is a lot less calmer than Tampa. So I like Fort Myers. You guys have heard of Fort Myers in the news. Hurricane Ian. I'm sure you guys have heard of that in Brazil. That actually hit my local beach, like 10 minutes away from me.
10?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
I'm jealous.
And we're out of hurricane season now, luckily. It actually ended like 13 days ago. But yeah, at the moment.
And just to cap it off, because you mentioned it, you're younger than me, right?
I'm 24.
I'm 24. Okay, so
okay.
okay.
That's amazing.
I think that I'm from March, so
Oh yeah, then you're older than me by a couple of months because I'm June.
I think that I can think of my head. That's pretty much sums it. I'm sure I'm gonna have more after we stop recording because that's how it works with me.
Yeah, that's how it works for us too. So I have a couple questions really quick for you. So
let's go.
You already said final thoughts. Thank you so much for coming on. You are absolutely welcome back on. I know right now it's a competition between Rob and Nick and you now for the most watched hours for part 2 of our anniversary show. Because especially this, Nick had the most watch hours in part 2 and all the second year or first year. Nick had the most by Tom Crossy too. It was short.
Oh, Mary, you can rest assured that I will be back in this podcast for sure. Like I said,
that sounds good too. Maybe to see if they want.
It's been an amazing experience for me. I had a lot of fun talking to you, talking football, Packers, life.
So,
I will be back. That's for sure.
So where can our fans follow you, and what do you guys have coming up? I know you guys mentioned I know you mentioned a podcast. Are you guys doing a podcast soon?
So
what is your recording schedule?
I'm currently writing 4 times a week for Zone Coverage, once for Cheesehead TV, although this was my bi-week at Cheesehead TV.
Oh, okay.
And
that's amazing.
Once for Packers Talk, the same website as Nick does. Yep. And I'm also working on a podcast project for next season that I'm going to start really getting to the day after the Super Bowl, that I will obviously invite you to be on it.
Yeah.
A podcast for Zone Coverage that we're hoping that it's going to be fully functional by maybe draft season.
Can you say what it's called or no?
I still have no idea what it's going to be called.
Okay.
It's about the logo or anything. But it's going to happen. It's going to happen, and I'm mostly on Twitter /X /whatever people want to call it, on Aceti, like ACETI _ Felipe, which is my name that's displayed for people to see. Mm-hmm. And I also on Blue Sky with the same user tag.
Another one. We're all like joining Blue Sky.
Yeah, the same user tag as I have on on Twitter.
That's
I'm
basically mine
doing
too.
I'm
Is
doing Packers content, like sharing articles, opinions. I know that I'm not always right, but I try my best to keep a objective view without letting my fandom get in the way of me.
So do you have anything to promote? Like any like writing articles? And if you want,
Promote
you can send me your articles and I can pin it in the comments so my followers can read it too.
promote. I have wow. That's I mean if people get into my I think I have my Linktree link on my X page. So if people go in there, they click, they're gonna find everything they need to know about me. And I
Oh,
also
that's
share a
nice.
lot of I share a lot of articles on Instagram, which my user tag in this case is Hayes, which is my first name, my second name that is displayed there.
Yeah.
Underscore Aceti, the same as I mentioned before, ACETI.
Okay. That's amazing. One thing I
But
need to start doing is Instagram more.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
So for
And
you guys, for those that are watching, I know I recorded an episode yesterday. Please watch that episode with Nick. It was so much fun. His third appearance on Mac and Cheese officially, and he's not done on the podcast. We have some
shout
things.
out Nick.
Yes, please shout out Nick. Please subscribe to our Fun That Sounds Media. I know they appreciate it. I know they're kind of taking a break right now. They appreciate it. Please, if you guys need to reach out to Mac and Cheese, please just do it. Cassie or I will be able to do it at the Mac Podcast 2023 on Twitter, yeah, or X, whatever you call it. And we're also on Blue Sky, so please follow us there. Also, please watch my interview with ESPN that I did. That was so much fun. And I can probably say this. They agreed to come on in 2025 for a full episode. So you guys will get that chance to ask them some questions that you guys might have never thought of. So that's going to be super fun. Do you have anything, final thoughts or final last words?
Uh,
If not, it's okay.
I'll finish saying that if the Packers make the postseason, I want to see the Lions again. And once again, this might age poorly, and I'm ready for it. But I want to see them again. I want the chance to end their season.
Yeah, I agree. My final thoughts is go Pack Go, and I don't know about next week if there's going to be a podcast.